What is up, my good people? Welcome to another live on the Speak Life Transformation YouTube channel. My name is Natasha Bryant. I am your host for tonight. If you don't know who I am a psychotherapist, a confidence mindset expert guru. I just do it all when it comes to confidence and mindset and your cognitive thinking. I'm also an author, a speaker, and I'm here to help you with some boundary setting tonight. That's what we're talking about today, boundary setting. So, as people are coming in, welcome, welcome, welcome. I decided to do this. Honestly, this is a very common, it's not an uncommon topic to talk about during the holidays. And I often don't talk about it because there's so much information that comes out about holiday boundary setting that I'm just like, there's enough information out there. But I decided, you know what? I'm jumping on the bandwagon this season because I just been having too many conversations with clients and people that I know about boundary setting and holiday boundary setting in particular. Actually, what made me decide to do is I was having a conversation with someone about a speaking engagement I was presenting at. We were talking about different topics, and boundary setting for the holidays was one of those topics. I didn't end up presenting on that topic, but as we were talking about it, we were talking about the different ways in families and friends and the holidays, how all of that can cause the stress to do things you don't want to do or show up in ways you don't want to show up, or you have the means to show up. People crossing your boundaries because they're family. Listen, family, they are the worst boundary crushers there is, because there's this level of just with your family, there's just no holds bar a lot of times, right? Because you know them, they know you, and so there's no fear of losing this person, or there's being this big conflict that leads to where there's high stakes of loss per se, and so family pushes our boundaries often, and so a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is with family and how to stand firm in your boundaries even when your family members are pushing them, even when your family members are like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but uh, I don't care because what I need is this. So we're going to be talking about a lot regarding that. And at the end, I have a special offer that I'm going to be offering. So stay to the end. I will share with you what that offer is. But let's get into it because this is not going to be a long. I said that last time, it's not going to be a long live, and then the whole conversation ended up being like a regular length live. But I'm getting right to the nitty gritty today. So again, today's session is all about 8 holiday boundaries that will help you avoid that holiday headache. I call it the holiday headache because there's this level of stress to be all the things during the holidays for people, show up in ways for people, this idea of giving and caring and la 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 la, all of that. And it can be stressful, especially if you don't have the means, especially if this season is not like the previous season, especially if this season is hard for you for whatever reason, and yet people are still expecting you to show up as you always have shown up. Or yet there's this expectation to be joyful and jolly and cheerful because that's what this holiday season is all about, right? And so if you're not that, then you're a Grinch, right? And so it's this pressure to be smiling and be joyful and happy all the time during the season when you may not feel like it or you may not want to be that. And so we're gonna be just talking about different layers of the pressures that comes with all of that. If you're watching this live or if you're watching this as a replay, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you are all about all things regarding wellness and mental wellness and want tips and strategies on how to take care of your mental self-care, how to be able to show up as your best self unapologetically and live your best life, then this YouTube channel is just for you. The reason why you would subscribe is so you can stay up on all the new videos I drop, that you'll be the first to know. So listen, and share this with anybody that you know will like it. If you're watching it live right now, once I post it, share it. If you're watching this on a replay, share it so that people can really get connected with all of this. So and then for those who are watching live, If you have any questions, feel free to light up the chat. The chat is open. The chat is active. I will be looking at it, so feel free to ask any questions in the chat. If you're watching this on a replay of a question, feel free to write a question in the comments. Either end, if you're watching this live or through the replay, I will do my best to try to answer the questions that you may have. So like I said, holidays can be hard, not even just with family, honestly, but also with grief. There is a lot of times there's this feeling of guilt, feeling of having grief and not wanting or not being available like you usually are, and feeling this pressure to be there for others, even though you know you don't have the emotional capacity to be there for others, and to show up in ways that you usually show up as. There is also financial pressure. Can we talk about that? The financial stress of the holidays to give and have presents, and maybe you have it might not even be a financial thing where you can't afford the presents, but maybe you don't want to use your money for that. Maybe you want to save your money or spend your money on something else, but the nerve for you to say that out loud, right? How dare you? Or maybe you just really don't have the means this year. My sister and I were talking about this today. The groceries is high, life is hard, right? The finances is not financing like they used to. And so you might not have the finances and the resources to be able to buy everybody a gift or get the type of lavish gifts that you usually get. And yet, and still you feel like you have to do that because that's how you usually show up. Or people are getting you gifts. So now you feel the pressure to have to get them a gift, right? And so there's all these things that come up with the holidays when it comes to boundaries. And we're going to talk about 8 ways to be able to set those boundaries. First one is this. We just talked about the finances. The first boundary is to stay on budget. Now, this boundary is for yourself. A lot of the boundaries I'm going to talk to you about today, it's going to be a mixture. It's going to be a mixture of boundaries for yourself that you need to put on yourself. And there's going to be boundaries that you need to put on other people. This one, stay on budget, is for you. This is the boundary where you have to really be honest with yourself. What can I afford? What do I actually want to spend? How much do I actually want to spend? Where do I actually want my finances to go? Or what do I actually have the financial means? Because maybe you might have just made a big purchase maybe 3 months ago or a few months ago, and you're still recovering from that. And so this holiday season may not be the same a level of money that you have. And so it's staying on budget, but you first got to create the budget. Create a budget. And if you don't know how to create a budget, there's tons of YouTube videos, there's tons of financial books, audio books. I mean, that you can really just go into how to create some financial stability through budgeting. And stick to the budget. Even when you see something that's really cute or you really see something that could really connect with somebody, like, oh, this would be the perfect gift for that person. Is it on budget? Is it within your budget? Is it within the means that you promise yourself? Because this is the thing about these boundaries. I call them self-love boundaries because I call boundaries self-love boundaries because boundaries are all about you advocating for what you need to live your best life as your best self. And it's a form, and because of that, it's a form of self-love. And so this is a perfect example of a form of self-love in a sense of you staying committed to your promise to yourself that I'm going to stay within this level of my budget because, one, I'm not trying to become stressed financially. 2, I have plans for my finances and I want to make sure I meet that plan. I succeed at completing that plan, right? And 3, I want to be in control of how I decide to spend my money. I want to spend my money the way I want to spend it, not the way somebody else is telling me to spend it, or this pressure to feel like I need to spend it this way because of X, whatever that X is. Stay on budget. Create a budget plan. The worst is when we're out of the bliss of the holidays. January 2nd hits, and then what happens? We're looking at our finances. We have credit card debt, and we're like, oh my goodness, I got to pay all these credit card bills. How am I going to pay these bills? And you're spending January and March or January and February paying back the expenses you spent in December and November. Stay on budget. Second one, number 2, schedule your clock in and clock out time. You may be thinking, Natasha, what does that mean? Clock in and clock out. Well, another pressure that we often feel, and I say we because listen, I'm with you on this. Like a lot of these I've experienced myself, y'all. A lot of times we feel this pressure that we have to, when we go to a family function, family event, family dinner for Christmas or the holidays, whatever you celebrate, and you feel like you have to stay the whole time. Matter of fact, you don't even want to go. you don't, for whatever reason. It could be a family member there that you don't feel comfortable around for whatever reason, or there's just drama in the family that you don't even want to deal with, or you just have multiple houses that you feel like you have to go to all the houses. And you're trying to find time, but you don't want to leave too early because people have something to say. You're leaving now. Why do you have to leave now? Or are you going to that side of the families? Well, you know, this side of the family, we're the ones. We did all this for you, or we're the ones. You should be spending most of your time with us. Whatever that is, the pressure that comes along with you staying for however many minutes, how many hours you stay for. Again, this is a boundary for you where you promise yourself and or your partner, because this if you have a partner, this is definitely a conversation you want to have with your partner about how long are we staying. Because you know this is all I can handle. This is what my capacity is. And or we're going to all these other places. We need to, this is what I can handle. This is my capacity, so I don't feel rushed. Or I just have this is what I have the emotional battery for, or social battery for, right? So schedule your clock in when you're going to go and your clock out, how long you're staying for, and stick to it. Because you can have the clock in and clock out time. You and your partner or you by yourself, you have decided this is how long I want to stay here. And then it's time to go. And they're like, oh, you're leaving already? You just got here. Or, oh, you're leaving now. We didn't even serve the dessert yet. Or, oh, we were going to play this game, or we're going to do this. We would love for you to be a part of this. You should stay. The next thing you know, you're feeling guilty. You're like, okay, I'm just going to do 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and turn into 10, 10 turn to 30, 30 turn to an hour. And next thing you know, you're staying there way longer than what you need to. You're feeling uncomfortable, or you're feeling irritable, whatever's coming up for you, because you wanted to leave a long time ago. So stick to the promise you made to yourself about what time you're leaving and what time you're staying. Giving yourself, listen, this is what goes with this. It's giving yourself the permission to say, this is how long I'm staying for. A lot of these boundaries I'm going to go over with you today is all about you giving yourself the permission to advocate for yourself in this way. It's giving yourself the permission to say it's okay to do this and not feel guilty about it. You guys know I'm all about living unapologetically. And boundaries, when you're being assertive and firm with your boundaries, that is nothing but unapologetic living, because you're doing what you know is best for you and you're not feeling guilty about it. You're standing up for what you know you need in order for you to live your best life as your best self. And that is what's most important. One of the things I say is you can't show up at your best as your best self if you are not advocating for what you need to be able to do that. Number three, do an energy check. Do an energy check while you're in the places you're in, whether it's a work function, a work party, before you go to any social gatherings. Check your energy. How am I feeling right now? Part of knowing what your emotional or social battery is understanding what that even looks like for you. What does that feel like for you? If you're recognizing that you're in a setting, whether it's a work event, family event, wherever you're at, and you're doing an energy check and you're recognizing your energy is low, maybe you need to eat, your energy's low because of that. Maybe you've been running around and you just need to rest, and this type of environment is not allowing you to rest, and you just need to go. You check out. You need to check out or clock out. You need to clock out because you're recognizing my energy is just too low for this. I don't have the capacity to deal with all the different energies and emotions that are that's in this environment, or before you leave. If you recognize your energy is low, you recognize for whatever reason, it could be because you are, you're having emotional, you're feeling emotionally distressed for whatever reason, whether it's grief. Maybe you were fine an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, you were ready and set to go to whatever you had planned to go to, whatever function. And now it's an hour before, 30 minutes before you were supposed to leave. And you're realizing, you do an energy check and you're realizing, I'm just not feeling it. I thought I was going to be able to go, but I just can't for whatever reason. If it's because you're feeling low, because you're grieving, because holidays are hard, or it's because you're just burnt out. You're just running around. You had a busy week. And so if you're recognizing, I said yes to this thing, I said yes to attending, but I'm realizing now that I'm doing my energy check, I don't have the energy for this. And advocate for that. Recognize that, you know what, I'm not going to be able to go. And or when you assess and decide to schedule your clock in and clock out based on your energy level. If you're recognizing that I was going to go at 4, but I'm realizing that I need another hour just to kind of collect my thoughts, I'm going to go in at 5 instead. Or I was going to stay for like a few hours, 3 hours. I'm realizing I'm only probably going to be able to do an hour. That is okay. Giving yourself the permission to recognize that this is what I need. I'm not at the place to be able to really engage in the way I wanted to. Check your energy. When you check your energy, you save your peace. When you check your energy, you protect your peace. And so check in to see how you're feeling in this moment. Where are you at? And honoring that, whatever that is that you need. Number 4, assert your adulthood. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes, even when you're an adult, those aunts or those uncles or grandparents or parents, whoever it is, can sometimes still treat you like you're still that kid. Anybody else? I mean, you can put me in the chat. That's you. If you've been through that, you can put me in the chat. Where they're still, you don't, there you have your aunts or your uncles or your whoever, the elder in your life, right? Still requiring you to do what they say, right? Or, respond to them. You better answer their question and not question their question, right? They ask you something, they want information, you better give them the information. Whatever that is, right? They're still treating you as if you're not an adult. And then because of that, and sometimes, honestly, they don't have to say anything. It might not even be the other person. It might be your own issues about asserting your own adulthood, because like when you're around your parents or when you're around your family, you immediately just go back to like that childlike mindset, forgetting that you're a grown person, right? And you immediately just respond like you always respond when you were a kid, and don't even realize it. Don't even realizing that you feel like, oh, I don't have the voice, I can't say this, or I can't say that, I can't say that, I can't do. Forget, no, you're the adult. You can set boundaries. If the aunt keeps asking you questions about your weight or who you're dating, you don't have to answer. You can say, no, I don't want to talk about that today. I see that you're concerned. I appreciate your concern, but I'm okay. You can respond in that way. Assert your adulthood. Do not forget that you are an adult. Sometimes it happens with your parents. The parents might still be treating you like, they ask you to do something, you're supposed to jump and do it like you used to do when you're a kid. And you might say, I'm not available right now, but I can be available to help you in this way. Give me like an hour or so. Or somebody's telling you how to raise your child because they know what they do because they're the elder and you're supposed to just listen. Or they're saying, or they're saying things or giving your child something that you from your own parenting, that's not how you want to raise your child. It's not what you want your child to be exposed to, or whatever that is, right? It's okay to assert yourself. You're an adult. You're a grown person. I don't even care if you're 23. You're an adult, right? And so being able to still be respectful, right? You don't have to necessarily, this is not about, disrespecting the people that you love and care for, or that, who have helped you along your journey, but it's recognizing that You are an adult now. You have control over your life. You're no longer in that situation where you get to do what they say because you're dependent on them, right? They're the ones providing you with the house, food, clothing, and shelter, financial security, all those things. And so you have to do what they say. That's not where you're at anymore. You're an adult. You pay your own bills, you get your own place, right? You know, you have your own family if you have a family, whatever that is, assert your adulthood. So when you have those family functions, advocate for what you want. If you don't want to talk about certain topics, it's okay to say, I'm not talking about that today. You don't have to feel this pressure to talk about your life, details of when you're going to get married or how many kids. All you don't have to, if that feels like it's very intrusive, advocate for that and say, I'm not talking about that. That's not. We're here to talk. We're here to have fun, have catch up. I don't want to talk about that. That topic's off limits. It's okay to assert your adulthood or being voluntold. Oh, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You're like, wait a minute. I already made plans. Oh no, you don't. You're gonna help such and such. Wait a minute. I'm no longer that 17-year-old. Right? You guys sometimes remind yourself, like, wait, no, I'm not available to do that. I made plans already. You may have to ask somebody else, or I can help you for the next 10 minutes or so, but I have to leave after that. So if you need some more help, you're gonna have to get somebody else to help you. Assert your adulthood. You're grown. Assert it. Another one is give to yourself as well. What I mean by this is the season of giving is a lot about giving to everybody else. It's a lot about helping other people, giving, caring, which is not a bad thing. It's great. But what happens is we often then lose ourselves in this giving for others. We forget to give to ourselves. We forget to care for ourselves. So make sure you also are including yourself in the schedule. Make sure you're also of your daily schedule. Make sure you're also including yourself in who you're caring for. Don't forget about you. Don't forget to care about you and what you need. So set those different boundaries where if you're recognizing you're volunteering for a lot of things, for example, and you're recognizing that you haven't had any time to focus on you, or you're volunteering so much that you're feeling by the time you get home, you're burnt out, you don't have any time to take care of yourself. Set those limits where you start saying no to things. Because that giving can cause you to be saying yes to a lot of things. You could be saying yes to so many things because you just want to give, you want to help, or people are saying, but we need you. You're so much better at planning for this event. It's not gonna be great unless you do it, whatever that is, right? And so you just want to help, you want to give, you want to support, and then you forget about yourself. So this goes back to the other boundary I said about assessing your energy. Because when you're realizing that you're doing a lot and you don't take a moment to step back to see how you're feeling, then you're not going to catch that you are volunteering way beyond your capacity, or you're taking on too many responsibilities that's beyond your capacity. And you start to need to say no to things. Also, it's okay to say no after you say yes. So part of caring for yourself is recognizing, like, maybe you did say yes to something because it sounded good at the moment. Maybe life happened, something came up, and or after reflecting, you realize, this actually is going to be too much. It's okay to go back to that individual and say, you know what? I know I said yes to this, but it turns out I'm not actually going to be able to help out in this way. I can help out in this way, so you can give them an alternative, or you can just say, I'm just not available. Sorry, but I'm not. I'm realizing this is going to be too much for me, or I'm not available for this. Allow yourself. So this is let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 6. Allow yourself to grieve without guilt. And I mentioned this earlier. This is a very happy, joyful, cheerful time of the year, right? And so grieving or being someone that might be more down than the happy, cheerful individual like other people may be, you might feel guilty about that. You might feel like I shouldn't be like this, or I don't need to be around people because I'm just going to ruin the mood. It's like, no, it's okay to grieve. This time of the year is the hardest because there's a lot of family and togetherness and there's traditions that are happening. And if you're grieving the loss of someone, especially when they're a part of a lot of those traditions or a lot of the family and gathering, it's this constant reminder that they're no longer here. And that's what makes it so much, that's what makes it heavier. Especially if you had special moments with that person during this time of the year, special memories, and it could just cause a flood of grief and sadness. And that's normal. You may be washing dishes and just bust out crying and not even know why. And it could be just a memory that came up for you in that moment. And so if you need time, give yourself the time that you need. This goes back to what I was saying earlier about, you know, do an energy check. If you're recognizing that, I know I usually go to, the different homes, my aunts or my grandparents or my, you might go to like 5, 6, 7 homes, and you might just say, this year, I just don't have the energy for that. This year might be tougher. This year is tougher than last year. And so I really don't have the capacity to do one because I'm just grieving, or none. I just want to stay in the house. I don't, and not necessarily a withdrawal, like withdrawing from people and you're isolating yourself, but more so you realize that I just need a moment to grieve. I just need to allow myself. I need to give myself the space to grieve, and that is okay. That is okay. It's also okay that if you are grieving and this year might be harder than the previous year, maybe this person passed several years ago, or they passed maybe a couple years ago and it wasn't as hard, and all of a sudden this year it is hard. That's normal, because sometimes you're at a different phase in your grief that you didn't realize. Maybe you thought you were at a place of acceptance, but this year is reminding you like, really, I'm not. This is actually heavier. This is still hitting me harder than I anticipated, because I realized that I didn't really allow myself to grieve the other past years. So, and grief is an emotional roller coaster, especially during the holiday season. So, check your energy and give yourself the permission to create the space and the time that you need to grieve. Number seven. Number seven is go traditional rogue if you want. This is what I mean by that. Sometimes there is this pressure that I have to follow all the traditions, whatever that is, right? Like people are expecting me to show up in this way, or my family has these just ongoing traditions, and if I don't show up to this tradition, people are going to be upset or disappointed, right? And so you may not even want to do the traditional thing, but you're nervous about going rogue because you don't want to upset anybody or disappoint anybody. Your kids might have a certain tradition and you might not want to do that tradition this year. You might want to change it up, but you're nervous that the kids are going to be upset about it, etc. Listen, give yourself the permission to go rogue if you want to go rogue. If you don't even want to even put up a tree and you just want to take the family on a vacation instead of actually doing family dinner at the house and a traditional tree and all that, do it. Go rogue. If you usually do one thing, you want to do the total opposite, that's okay. Again, this is all about giving yourself the permission. This boundary is more about really allowing yourself to say, I want something different. And it's okay. If it's okay to say to somebody, I'm not going to participate in this year, and not feel guilty about it. And maybe invite them. We're not going to be doing this, that our usual tradition. We're going to be doing this instead. You're more than, if you would like to join us, we would love to have you, and leave it up to them if they want to join you on this new tradition, if you want to start new traditions. But allow yourself to do that, and allow yourself to be okay with telling somebody that I'm not going to participate. This year, we're going to do something different. Or I'm participating, but I'm participating differently. So usually I show up with this, or usually I do this. I actually want to change it up and I want to do something different. Advocate for that. Change it up if you want to, especially, to be honest, when you're dealing with the loss and grief. Changing things up sometimes is a way of allowing you to figure out, where's my life now without this individual. It's like you are giving yourself the permission to be able to move forward and define what your life is like now with the loss. And that might be different. You might want to change it up because doing the tradition it makes it too hard. it adds too much sadness, too many hard memories. And so you may want to change it up to create new positive memories. Not necessarily like you're trying to get rid of or forget the other person that lost or forget the person that you lost, but more so trying to figure out, who am I now without this person? What is my life now like without this person? Because I have to figure out who and what that is. And so doing something new, creating a new tradition may be a way of doing that. And the final one, let go of the responsibility to save others from their situation and their emotions. A lot of times the guilt that you may be feeling during the holidays is because you are making it your responsibility to make sure everybody's happy, nobody's upset. It's the holidays. We're all supposed to have fun. We're all supposed to be cheerful and jolly. There's not supposed to be anybody upset, right? And so you're doing all these things to make sure to make sure nobody's upset. You're trying to create the perfect event, make sure the house is great, the food is perfect, everybody's get their invites, and people getting all the gifts that they said they wanted to get, whatever that is, right? And as a result of it, you are putting this pressure to manage other people's emotions, to save people from their own problems. Maybe it's where it's like, oh, this person is having a rough season. This holiday is really hard for them. I really want to make sure that they are having a good time. And so you're making it your responsibility to save this person. Did the person ask to be saved in this way? Did they say they even wanted this help that you are assuming that they want and need? Because what happens is, if the people don't respond, the people, meaning all the people you're trying to save, all the people you're trying to make happy, they don't respond in the way you're expecting for them to be like so appreciative, like, oh my goodness, thank you so much, or whatever that response you're looking for. If they don't respond in that way, you're going to end up feeling resentful. You're going to end up having this feeling of like, I shouldn't even did all this. I did all this and nobody's even appreciating it. Nobody even cares. I did this for this person and they're just like, meh. Their response is not even, they said they didn't want it. What? I did all this. I searched for this gift. I did all this research to make sure they got this gift. I went out of my way to get this gift and they don't even like it. Did they ask for the gift? Did you even listen to what they actually wanted? Or are you giving them what you think they need or what you think they want? And so part of the boundary for yourself is stepping back and saying, wait a minute, I'm setting my own boundary. I'm not going to make it my responsibility to save other people. I'm only going to only offer help when it's asked. And I'm not going to try to make everybody happy because I know that's not realistic. And that's a boundary set for yourself. That will save you from feeling overwhelmed, save you from having resentment that people are not appreciating you the way you would like for them to appreciate you, save you from feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. And so this boundary is for you to set that your own limit of like, this is how far I'm going to go. I'm not going to go any further than this because I'm not going to take a responsibility that's not mine. Trust me, you have enough responsibilities of your own. You don't need to take on anybody else's responsibilities. So those are the 8 boundaries that can save you from the holiday headache. And I wanted to give you, I wanted to go a different route with it, with the boundaries. Because like I said, there's so much information during this time of the year about boundaries and holidays. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave you something that came from a different perspective. Have you think differently about what boundaries can look and sound like, and also maybe talk about some areas regarding the holidays that maybe other people are not talking about. So I hope this is helpful for you. I hope that you have found this resourceful for you, that as you continue to go into the thick of the holidays, you're able to set those boundaries for yourself, set your boundaries for others, give yourself the permission to give you what you need to go rogue if you want to go rogue, so that you can be able to have a joyous holiday. So you actually can enjoy the holidays the way you need to enjoy the holidays, the way you want to enjoy the holidays, and so that you don't go into 2024 with feelings of resentment and regret because you did not set the boundaries that will help you live your best life as your best self unapologetically. So as always, make sure you be Safe. When I say safe, I mean out in these streets. It's rough out these streets. So make sure you're being safe out here. Be bold with your purpose. Be bold with your life, and make sure you speak life. Speak things into existence. Speak the life that you want into existence. And make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for the next time I show up on the Speed Life Transformation TV YouTube channel. Have a good night. Oh, wait, before I have a good night. Ha! I remember the deal, the offer. Wait a minute. My memory. I'm having a free live masterclass. Wait a minute. Ha! Let's backtrack. A free live masterclass this Thursday. What is Thursday? Thursday is the 14th, I believe. Let me make sure I'm giving you guys the right. Yes, Thursday the 14th. I'm having a free masterclass. It's called The Art of Fulfillment. It's all about, and this goes back to living unapologetically. It's all about being able to pursue what you are passionate about, be able to pursue your purpose so that you can create that fulfilling life. But being able to create that unapologetic and a confident mindset so you can pursue your purpose, make your passions a priority. And a lot of this, what we're talking about today, these boundaries, is, if you notice, is about making you a priority. And so I'm going to be talking more about that, but outside of the holiday sector, more about like fulfillment. How do you set the boundaries? How do you put the systems and structures in place where you can be able to put yourself first so you can pursue that life that you truly want and not put it on hold anymore? We don't have time to put our dream lives on hold. It is your time now to feel fulfilled in all areas of your life. And so that is this Thursday at 12 p.m. during that lunchtime hour. I'm going to put the link in the chat. I'm also going to put it in the show notes. Definitely make sure that you register. It is free. It's a virtual. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the presentation. It's free, it's virtual. Click the link in the chats. You're watching this by replay, click the link in the show notes. And I'll see you there. So now I'm done, y'all. Have a good night.